Hi everyone, welcome to this video. This is going to be the second video in my binder reorganization and maintenance series. Today I will be storing back the cards that I sleeved in my previous video into my binders using my new Meow Cafe sleeves. I will also be discussing my 2025 collection goals and what I want to focus on this year for my collection. I'm super excited to be doing this video, and I decided to actually start with my merch binder because I think that this would be the easiest. Let's begin. I don't think I need too much for the merch binder. I do have, let's see, I think I only need a few pages. So first I'm seeing that I still need to store some season's greetings from last year. So I have these cards to store from last year's season's greetings. First, I'm going to discuss my collection goals for my Stray Kids collection. And I have really started to make rules on what I can buy and what I should just wait for, because collecting Stray Kids, they do release a lot. They're not a group that does the most pobs and most fan signs and most lucky draws. I definitely think groups like itzy, ateez take the crown for that. But they do release a lot. They release a lot of albums. They release a lot of merch. They tour pretty frequently, I would say. Actually, I think I put these on the back last time. As an OTA collector and someone who used to prioritize OTA sets, I definitely bought a lot as I was first starting to decide what I wanted to collect. Moving on to fan meeting merch. And this fan meeting merch is a prime example. You will see that I got all 16 pobs from the merch because I literally bought enough to get those purchase benefits. But recently, I haven't even been buying their merch drops. I haven't bought since the last fan meeting. So I skipped out on the Busan pop-up. I skipped out on the Seoul concert. I skipped out on Daikon, and I'm sure I've skipped out on more, especially with all that they release in Japan. And that is because I am trying to prioritize traveling to see them or prioritize recently lucky draws for Jisung. And I do like that. I've liked that I've set these rules, because if I hadn't and if I didn't, I think I would be stressed of collecting them. This is all to say that I sat down and I thought about the goals that I want to give myself this year for this collection. And that way, when I come back in a year from now, I will look and see that, oh, I completed this, or oh, I still need to work on this. And it also gives me something to prioritize rather than try to collect everything for every merch drop, every album drop, literally anything and everything. First goal I have is to complete my album collection for Hop and 8. I am not too far behind, but I do want to complete that this year for sure. In their Step Out 2025 video, they announced that they would be having 2 more albums. When do they rest? But I know that they have a lot of music that they want to give to us, so I'm always grateful. That being said, they have a lot of cards to collect. So I just want to catch up with the eras from this past year, and I don't mind being behind for the next 2 albums. I will still be purchasing those albums as the era comes, but I'm definitely taking my OTA collections a lot slower with all the traveling that I'm doing this year. That is what I'm prioritizing. Another goal of mine is to catch up on my Japanese collection as well. I purchased 1 jewel case for Giant because my friend had gone to Japan and I had asked them if they could purchase me a Giant album. Other than that, I haven't purchased anything for that release. I do wish Giant had more of an era, but we were just moving so quick there for a while. I want to come back to it. I want to collect Jisung for Japanese releases, and I want to just prioritize collecting him only. I at least want to make a small dent in his album photocard collection for the Japanese releases. Moving on to this DVD set from Maniac Tour. which, oh my gosh, I miss Maniac Tour so much. I'm very excited to finally see Dominate. I'm so excited to see them this summer. And it looks like I just need 2 more pages because I have the photo book set. Catching up on Hop and 8 are definitely my biggest priority, and then after that, putting a dent in Jisung's Japanese collection. I haven't been purchasing albums the way I usually do the past 2 eras, which is I will literally buy the full accordion set or member version set. I will typically buy 8 standard albums from Makestar. I would have usually bought 8 limited albums. I typically buy 8 of each version so that I have enough to trade for. But recently I haven't even been buying the member versions. They just have so much. They have so much. So I'm not sure if that will change for the newer eras. I think I will just have to play it by ear on, you know, what is being released or where I am in that moment of time. I don't think that finishing my member versions for Hop and 8 are a huge priority for me. It's not a huge priority for me, especially because my bookshelf, my album bookshelf is completely full. So I really don't even have room for those anymore. So that's not a huge priority, but definitely getting the album cards is. That is it for this binder. I do have some larger inclusions I need to store, but that I probably will do on my off time. And I also do have the newest season's greetings, but I am waiting to store that in another storing video. This is mostly just restoring what was already stored away. But this is the keychain that they gave us in this year's season's greeting. So I just put this on my merch binder. Starting off with No Easy. Even though finishing Hop and 8 is my biggest goal for 2025, finishing No Easy and Christmas Evil is not. Even though I have been trying to collect No Easy Forward for Stray Kids, OT8 that is, for the album PCs, for 2 years now, I have to tell myself it is not a race. These cards are very much available and in circulation. So when I get these through trade offers or by purchasing the album, because I'm still missing a No Easy album for my collection, one of these standard versions, I will get the cards through that. And I'm going to continue with that mentality this year. I did find some trades for the red pre-order benefit recently, so I'm super happy about that. I am sad that my fillers no longer fit my 9 pocket pages. I had made custom fillers for Skiz, and I had made them specifically for standard fit because I like when fillers fill up like the entire pocket. And since my fillers were standard size, they no longer fit for this. So I think I will begin to create new fillers. And that leads me to my next goal, which is to really take time to create fillers and binder covers and be a little bit more creative with how I store my collection. And I do plan to do that today. So I bought the 8 pocket pages from Meow Cafe, and that's where the cards on, well, I have them right here. That's when they look like this, so they would be facing this way. And I bought these because a lot of the Hop sets actually have backs that go together, and I think they go together perfectly with these 8 pocket pages. I don't know why they did that. Especially for larger inclusions, I definitely want to get creative on how I store my larger inclusions so that it's something that I enjoy flipping through. I've seen some really beautiful collections and how people store their larger inclusions and just get so creative with it. So I definitely want to try and do that this year. Moving on to Christmas Evil, which didn't have that many sets. Another goal of mine is the way that I want to focus on collecting pops to be different. So I've mentioned previously, but I used to prioritize collecting OT8 sets. Of course, that comes with album PCs, but also with pre-order benefits and merch. I would prioritize OT8 sets over collecting a certain member. I got quite bored with that, and so I want to prioritize collecting Pobs and Lucky Draws for Jisung. I don't think I'm ready to join a fixed slot yet. I don't think that is something that I necessarily want to commit to, especially since people are already posting and looking for joiners for their fixed slots, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I definitely want to switch the way that I join group orders and what I join for. So now that I am focusing on just getting Jisung's Pobs and selectively an OT8 set maybe, and then selectively Lino, and selectively maybe other members, it really depends. But that's going down a rabbit hole I really should not go down. I want to focus more so on his lucky draws. His lucky draws are definitely something that I find that I will struggle with later if I don't claim him initially. I think his Pobs are easier to find, and Stray Kids Pobs in general are easier to find now after the fact, and they do become pretty cheap. I mean, for Hop Era, we definitely have some cards that are testing us. I don't know why a Nemo Pob is going for $50, but that's the world that we live in right now. All right, moving on to Ordinary. But yes, I think Lucky Draws are definitely cards that I want to stay on top of. So that means not necessarily staying on top of Pobs, because collecting everything is very, very expensive. And I do wish I could collect everything like right off the bat and stay on top of everything for him, but realistically, that is just not in my budget. So, especially with the way that I've been collecting my other alt group, G-Idol, they both do so much, especially for groups that create like their own music. Like they do so much that I just need to pick and choose sometimes. For me, I actually do have fun like looking for certain cards and just having like some holes in my collection, not large holes. Like I do want, again, staying on top of Lucky Draws is something different, but even with like Hop, I think I'm having a lot of fun just being like, oh, I still need this card. I'm not necessarily buying it right now, but it's something that like I think about and kind of makes collecting, you know, a little bit of a search, I guess. And they're not hard cards to get either. Like, again, they are very much in circulation. A lot of people buy Stray Kids albums every era, so they shouldn't be that much. Almost done with Ordinary. We have these ID cards, and then we also have the units, which actually the units I want to store in the 8 pocket pages. I went through all these cards last night and made sure that they were pretty much in the correct order, but I think on my off time I might play around with what sets go first. Like, I love this jewel case set. This is like really what led me to collect OT8 and the first set that I like purchased to collect OT8, but I might move around like the other sets to just make them more cohesive. But for right now, getting the cards into the pockets is the goal. Ooh, these are a snug fit. I don't know if it's just this pocket page, but that was definitely snug, but it looks really good. It does feel like these are much more snug than the 9 pocket, which I don't dislike. I actually really like that. Oh, this Volcaracha unit. Also, reorganizing my entire collection has allowed me to like relook at the cards like up close without a sleeve. And these cards are so cute. I love reappreciating older eras. Shake test. So that is the first page, and I will store the rest of the unit cards. This is really a game because now I'm looking at this and I'm like, is there a way for me to put these cards so that all 8 are on the top row, all 8 are on the bottom row, but they're not on top of each other? Oh gosh, this is hurting my brain. Wait, oh yeah, because Felix. Oh no, this is hurting my brain a lot. Wait, no. I can't think about that right now. I cannot think about that right now. Okay, so let's store the units. So I had red, blue, and then black. The 8 pocket pages fit perfectly with the 9 pocket pages, so it looks so good. There is like room on the side, but I don't mind that. But ooh, like I said, it's like a tighter fit, so there's like more air bubbles. Moving on to Maxident. I actually think that was the last of my collection goals for Skiz. There's not like any specific cards that I'm really hoping to get this year. Of course, I would love to work on Jisung's like non-album, specifically the like Seoul Dominate merch and the Busan merch, and maybe look at his Japanese merch cards and also like the trading cards. They're not trading cards, but they're like 4x7 photos. They're so beautiful and they're a little bit pricey because they are random, but it is something that I want to pursue in the future, but it's not necessarily a priority for 2025. And I think the last thing for Skiz is really just like an overall goal for my photo card collecting, and it is just to focus on my alts, which are Skiz and gidle. And I think I just want to focus on them and really focus on expanding their collections, even though at times I really want to create new collections for groups. But these are collections that I have thought more of and have thought that, you know, when I get these cards, I will be keeping these cards for a very long time. I don't want to start a new collection and then get overwhelmed with the collection and have it not be fun. So just focusing on my alts this year with other releases like DVDs, season's greetings. I won't say concerts because I love casually going to concerts, but buying all versions, buying more than one copy for versions, reserving that for my alts. Speaking of gidle, I want to discuss how I want to collect them in 2025 and my collection goals for them as well. So Minnie has announced her solo, and I fear that I will be collecting too much for it already. I loved her pre-release, and I don't collect the other 3 members of Idol that I don't bias. I mean, I'm 100% OT5, but I double bias Soyeon and Shuhwa, and so I collect them both for album PCs, and I collect quite a few POBs for them, and I've been trying to expand their non-album collection as well. But for the other 3 girls, I do not allow myself to collect their album PCs because I don't want to be overwhelmed. They do have a lot of album PCs, but for their solo releases, it just allows me to like collect them when I usually am not able to. So I definitely think I will be using Minnie Solo as a way to collect her because she is just so lovely and I'm so excited for her solo album. For Oogie, I collected a 9 pocket of Oogie, and I did buy one of each of her version. I think the only reason I didn't collect Oogie more is because I was traveling internationally like right after her release, and also Stray Kids had announced their own comeback, so I had other priorities during that time. But I have been thinking about revisiting her first album and collecting a little bit more for it. I actually did just buy 2 of her album PCs because someone was selling a bit of their Oogie and Shuhwa collection, and they had some of the I Feel photo book PCs, and they were prioritizing bulk buyers. So I just chose the Oogie PCs from her solo album that I didn't have, and it is something that I want to expand, but it's not something that I want to prioritize because I don't want to like stress myself out with so many things to collect. But for Minnie, I am allowing myself to collect a little bit, maybe 2 9 pockets, or at least all her album PCs. At least all her album PCs. I've also found such great gidle goms, so it's much easier for me to claim POBs and whatnot with Idol. Okay, I was also going to do something different with Maxident. Little pause. again, being more creative with my collection already, you know, using one of my goals. They never really made hearts correctly, so I'm going to use these pocket pages so that they can properly create hearts. I know for some people it bothers them that, you know, it's not in age order, and I think it would bother me too. Like, I mean, I definitely like storing my collection in age order, but again, just trying some things new. If I don't like it, I can always just move it back to a 9 pocket. All right, and the other thing that I want to do for the bottom pocket, I'm actually going to put their like case file pop so that it corresponds to the member. So I actually really love when we get like a card of them or a selfie of them and then like an iPhone shot far away. That's what we have for this page. All right, and then we have the other 4 members. So this is how I'm storing this set. And then I do have this full pop set from Apple Music, so I will be storing this in here as well. I do want to still store my OT8 pop sets in these binders. Going back to Minnie, so I am definitely allowing myself to collect a little bit more for Minnie. I have great goms. I am excited for her album. I want to support her as much as I can. And again, it just allows me to collect my OT5 that I always want to collect, but don't allow myself to. I think for Idol, my only collection goal for 2025 is to finish the I Feel photo book PCs. Damn, those PCs are so difficult. I am just missing one Shuhua PC. I will put it on the screen. Again, I just bought 2 I Feel photo book PCs from this person on Instagram. I bought 1 Shuhua, one I already have, and an Ugi, and I'm hoping to post them for trade for the Shuhua that I need. I don't even see it for sale. Like, I think I'm even willing to like start a Pokemarket order, a Nyokio order, if I saw this one card. Like, I really, really want to be done with it. All right, moving on to 5-star. And I believe 5-star is where I ended the binder initially, so we will see how full it gets. The other goal I wrote down for Idol for 2025 is just to stay up to date with them, and I did that with I Sway era because I decided that I really wanted to work on my Idol collection and really collect them fully for both Soyeon and Shuhua. So I joined a bunch of group orders. I made sure I had enough albums secured for all their album cards. Idol, the way that they do albums, usually they're nice. They give us a polka, they give us the album, and the different versions, but then they do a special version, and the special version like doesn't come with pobs, or like there's no fan signs with it, and then they also sell out and they never restock it. So for I Sway, it was the cassette version, and I had ordered enough this era, I believe, like throughout the era. Thankfully, a lot of the Chinese sites did do events with the special version, so I was able to claim Soyeon and Shuhua for that. And you are guaranteed this era to get their card, but in previous eras, like with the I Feel photo book PC, what was it? It was like 1 out of 25 photo cards. Like evil, evil, evil. Just evil. My goal is just to stay up to date with them and make sure I have enough albums secured to collect them and not stress about it. I know that their jewel cases as well have typically been difficult to collect. They did jewel cases for 2 era. During 2 era, I was only buying the photo book versions from Target, but I was able to secure a lot of the jewel case PCs. So if they do jewel cases again, I will definitely make sure that I have enough to collect Soyeon and Shuhua at the very least. Oh, I'm like looking at my notes. Another collection goal for G Idol is to figure out how I want to store them in the future. And that is because I am outgrowing my 2-inch A4 plus binder. And can you believe that Idol used to be in a binder like this, like beginning of the year, and now they're outgrowing a 2-inch A4 binder? I'm scared. I'm actually scared. And I use Meow Cafe for their binder. I absolutely love it. I will continue to use Meow Cafe, but I'm just deciding, do I get the 3-inch? They do have a 3-inch, and I don't think I'm going to be purchasing it now. So I think I would purchase it at the very least in April, because that's when I think they're able to restock it if you don't purchase it like within like the next day or so. Yes, I want to decide, or I need to decide what I want to do, because I think Idol are going to continue to be releasing music very, very frequently, especially as they're staying with Cube. So I don't think their like schedule is going to change drastically. I hope it does. I hope they get rest. But I know they're busy, busy girls. So I think that I will be needing a new binder very soon. I don't know what the right decision is, because here's my thought process. I collect Soin and Shuhua. I don't know how many times I've said that. I collect all their album PCs. How I collect them, or back collect them, that is I focus on I Never Die Forward, because that is when I started standing them and collecting them. And I focus on Soyeon first because I have the most for her, but I have both their templates up on my Instagram, like to collect them in full from I Never Die Forward. But I just focus on Soyeon in terms of like setting up for that collection. I am focusing on Soyeon first and then Shuhua, just to not overwhelm myself. But if anyone offers me like Shuhua cards, like I'll take them. I definitely want to decide like when I get those cards, how I want to continue storing them, because I don't put Soin and Shuhua like side by side, even though I plan to collect all their album PCs the same way. I don't collect their pobs the same way. And I like having my idol pobs with the era. So I will put like my Soyeon I Sway pobs after her album cards. And I really like how that looks, and I don't want to change that. But I also don't want to separate them into separate binders. So I don't know, I guess the 3-inch is the solution, but it's just something I need to like sit more on. I think after mini solo and then maybe getting a few more cards from older eras, I think that binder is done for, because I also do try to collect Idol's larger inclusions for my biases. So that takes up some room, not a lot, but it does take up some. Okay, so this is like what I initially had in this binder before, of course, reorganizing everything. But like, I can fit more now. I think with the Meow Cafe supplies, they're not as bulky, and so I can fit more eras in one binder. Starting on Rockstar and moving on to another collection of mine, which is my Kiss of Life collection, which I have not shown on this channel yet because I bought a lot of PCs after I filmed the videos I've posted, like way back in the summer. And then I stored them all myself because I was really contemplating how I wanted to store them. But my only goal is to catch up on Belle's album PCs. That includes the Midas Touch jewel cases. I just need one more. And that is if one of the jewel cases arrives to me. I bought it from an international seller. So, and I bought it stamped. I mean, it was just one card. So I'm really hoping that arrives soon. It seems that they're going to continue to do the jewel cases and the like 1 in 4. Why? No, more like 1 in 16, which is so evil. But I guess that means that I will just be purchasing full sets for jewel cases, because if I do not buy them during the era, trade during the era, it is just going to be so difficult. So I was able to secure all her Lose Yourself jewel case PCs, but again, that one Midas Touch PC And then I'm missing all her polka pieces for Born to Be XX and Midas Touch, but those are a little easier to find. And I see people selling it. I just haven't bought her full set yet. I should do that though. I should do that just so that's something I don't have to worry about anymore. For Kiss of Life, that is the goal I've been telling myself for quite some time now, and I'm actually not allowing myself to buy non-album or collect another member because I have thought about it until I finish Belle, because they are already difficult enough to collect that I just want to finish this one goal, and then I will have a little bit more wiggle room to start collecting other things. My other collection that I started this year actually is enhypen, and I started collecting Hisung. Oh my gosh, I almost decided to collect my bias line, which is Hisung, Jae, and Jungwon. I'm collecting Hisung secondhand, so, and he's an expensive member. So I'm already sort of like using more funds than I would have liked to or would like to collect him. So I think just focusing on him is my priority. And so the only goal I put under Enha was just to collect them secondhand as much as I can. I don't have rules necessarily for collecting Hisung. Like, I'm not trying to complete his album card collection per se. I mean, I would love to, but it's not necessarily my priority. For him, I just get what I can. Honestly, I'm having more fun just buying the cards I really, really like right now and curating my collection that way. So again, just keeping it casual, buying secondhand, and maybe in the future I will be able to pick up a second and maybe third member, but I don't know. I think Jungwon is also a very hard member to get. So, and Jay is my second bias anyway, so I would probably pick him up next. Okay, that is it for Rockstar. Where the hell did these go? Oh, I have a Make Star set. Oh, I have these too. Wait, damn, Rockstar had so many sets. Okay, let me think about this. Oh, I was going to store these differently as well. I think mostly because I don't really like this set as much. Like, it wasn't my favorite concept during the era. Okay, so let me store this Make Star set really quick. This was an OT8 set I really could not part with. Like, every single one of the members' cards is top tier. Like, oh my gosh, this Singman. You can't ask me to part with that. I think a goal for my Enha collection, like, not a priority, but something that I would love to expand is I really, really love their like character cards from their webtoon. I haven't read the webtoon. I think I started it and then I never continued. But they're little like merch cards for that, which I've found out are quite expensive. I would love to like collect Hisung for that or his character. So that is something that I would look into. All right, and this is the Polaroid set, and I'm also going to store this set. What are your collection goals for this year? I know people have different collection goals, obviously, but is it like more towards getting a certain card, picking up a new collection, or finishing collections? Like, what are typically your goals, and like, do they help you stay aligned? Because I feel like writing this down has definitely and will definitely help me. And just like being like, oh, I wrote this down, it's on paper, now it's on video, now it's to the entire world. Like, I should keep to these goals. So this is what these two sets look like. I like how I had the selfies and then the iPhone shot, and then I just split them with the oldest members and the youngest members. So in terms of where I want to store this, I think I might just have to play around with this off camera. So I will just store these right here for now. That was the end of Rockstar. So now let's see, because I really think that the next era, which is 8, is not going to fit in here because 8 has quite a few sets. Like, can I fit another era? That's kind of crazy to be able to fit another era in here when I've already added one more, but it looks like I can. I don't think I realized how thick my supplies made my binders, but I mean, granted, I will still be getting more cards, especially for No Easy. Like, I have a lot of sets that have holes in them, but I don't think it'll make that much of a difference. For 8, I am not complete with album cards. I only have a few more groups on my list of things to discuss for my collection goals. My next one is 17, and I don't collect 17 per se. I've started to collect them a little bit more. I've been a fan of 17 since between Ataka and Face the Sun era, and I did buy their Face the Sun albums. I bought every version, or every version of the standard album. And then I decided I actually don't really like collecting 17. My bias is Hoshi, but my bias line just changes too much. And I found that trying to collect Hoshi and his album PCs, especially during Face the Sun era, like that I know was a difficult era to collect. I just felt overwhelmed with it. So I never started a collection for them, but I always had photo cards for them. Recently, I went to a cup sleeve event for 17, and I did not realize how deadly it is to go to a cup sleeve event, because tell me why so many of the vendors there had such like 3-inch binders of 17 cards they were trying to sell, and I was like, and they were not horribly priced as well, and I was like, I can really just Venmo you right now for like the cutest card right in my face, and like you give it to me right here, right now. Like, I feel like the steps to buy cards on Instagram or Mercari like stop me from purchasing cards impulsively. But when they're right in front of you, how do I say no? So that's how I got like this card I didn't even know existed. That is the most gorgeous card ever. These two cards, like it was so fun, but I was like, I cannot go to more cup sleeves. I mean, I will be going to more cup sleeves, but just be prepared. I've definitely been collecting them a little bit more, very, very casually. Again, this is a binder you have not seen. As you can see, this is the entirety of my 17 collection. That's it. And did you see Hoshi? No, he's still my bias. He's still one of my alts, but for 17, my goal is just to keep it casual. I think I will only try to buy 17 cards from like cup sleeve events if people are selling extras. Yes, okay, I am going to store these units in the 8 pockets as well. And I'm going to put the Sunshine Twins first. The reason I wanted to store the units in this page is because I collected all the Walmart and Barnes & Noble exclusives for this era, and they are far away cards respective to these units, and I think that they would just look super good. The last group I wrote down in terms of like my collections is Itzy, and this is a new collection for me. It's not a collection I'm necessarily starting, but I did buy their gold album because honestly that album was amazing. I actually have like a playlist that I made of like the gold album and then the solo songs from Born to Be, because I love Leah's and Chaeyoung's solo songs. Like, those two songs are like some of my favorite songs of last year. And then I loved the Born to Be album, and I'm so happy that they did like final versions with Leah. And then I loved the gold album, so I wanted to pick up a copy to support them, because I really did not like the hate train that Itzy got for, I don't know, the past 2 years at this point. And so I think I will continue to buy a like Target copy for their releases. I definitely am going to like keep up to date with their album releases, and I would love to see them in concert as well. But for them, I also just put keep it casual. My biases are Yeji and Yuna though, so I don't know which one is like my bias and which one's my bias wrecker. So that's why I also want to keep it casual, because picking up 2 members is not really something I want to do, especially since I know that Itzy has some album PCs that are very difficult to obtain. And the last thing that I wrote in my notes, which is really funny, okay, if you're an ateez, please do not take this the wrong way. Like, I stream ateez quite often and I want to support them. But I literally wrote, don't buy ateez albums. Do not go down that rabbit hole. And I struggle every era to reserve buying ateez albums. I want to so bad, but they have so many cards and I don't know who I want to collect. And then if I start getting cards, like, it's just too much. Like, I can't think about that. I can't allow myself to go down that rabbit hole. And so I just need to continue my strong front of not buying their albums, especially with all the US like retailers that they do and the exclusives and the pop-ups. I just need to not do it. It's not for me yet. I do have some ateez cards. You can look at my collection tour and I do have ateez cards. I have these 2 Jungos. I have this Jungo because I thought I was going to water bomb, but alas. And then I think that's it. I did trade for a Uno recently because someone was looking for some Skiz Pobs that I had, and the Uno card that they had was so cute. So I did trade for it, but other than that, I'm not going down the rabbit hole. I'm not. I can't do it. I don't know who I would collect. I mean, my bias for the longest time was Yuno. My first bias was Hongjun, and then it was Yuno, and Yuno was my bias for quite some time, and he still is in my bias line. And then Jungho, but now like San, I didn't think that would happen, so I'm like, I'm still confused, ateez. And I've been a fan of ateez for quite some time now. I went to what was their tour? It wasn't their recent tour, it was like the fellowship tour. And I really, really enjoyed them. I do want to see them again, but their previous tour just didn't work out with the timing. What am I doing? It didn't work out with timing, and also their tickets were very expensive. So I did not end up going to that. I thought I was going to see them at Waterbomb, but I think we know what happened with that. ateez, I think, are like the best performers I've ever seen. So yes, but they tour a lot, so I wasn't worried of missing this tour. Again, I hope they rest, but they do tour a lot and they do come to the US a lot. And those were my collection goals. If I had to like think about more goals for this year that were not on my list, it would definitely be to expand my bookshelves for my album collection. I am still in awe of how many OT8 sets I've been able to store in this binder. Like I said, my previous binder stopped at 5-star. So being able to fill No Easy to 8 in one binder is insane. And let's see how this looks though, with everything, all the eras in it. This is perfect. This is how much room we have with No Easy to 8. And I think this is all I would fill it up with. I'll add the social path at the end, but I think this is all I'm going to do on camera. The rest I'm going to do off camera. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I am happy to have talked about my collections. I apologize if I like go on too many tangents though. I think that's just sort of how I talk. So I really enjoyed doing this. For my next video, a little spoiler, I will be working on decoing my binders and making them a little bit prettier. And then I will also be working on this binder. And if you have any questions about the supplies that I'm using, please feel free to ask it down below. I know that I definitely used videos and other people who showcased their collection to decide what I wanted to do with my own collection. So I know it helps a ton. So feel free to ask and I will answer to the best of my abilities. But I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a happy new year.